some points that you need to understand, okay? How I differentiated the two, is that clear? Metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive regulation. Okay, let's move. We have this different types of knowledge used in the metacognition processes. Okay, process. We have declarative, procedural, self-regulating, and metacognitive knowledge. When we say declarative, it's the knowledge about the self as a learner. Okay, it's these are factors. Okay, the knowledge about the factors that influence learning. It talks about your understanding of your memory, your understanding of your own skills. That's declarative. Okay, when we say procedural, it's your knowledge or ability. Okay, the knowledge or ability to perform something, like how to use these strategies in different contexts. Okay, this is about your knowledge on the strategies about learning in different contexts. That's why kaya nga procedural, okay, something to do with performance. Okay, you need to apply this one into this context. Alam mo na sa kontekstong ito, dahil ang pinag-aaralan mo ay history, and there are some important events that you need to memorize in sequence. Para pag tinanong yung essay part na yun, you know how to sequence the events. Okay? That's procedural. Okay? You are using, parang ano yan, you are using your declarative knowledge in order for you to identify what procedure suit your learning. Okay, in order to know in which context or in which situation are you going to apply this declarative knowledge. Next is self-regulating knowledge. This is knowing conditions as to when to apply procedures and strategies to ensure completion of a task. Knowing the conditions, yung mga condition na meron when it comes to applying this declarative and procedural strategies. So it means it's impossible to have this self-regulating knowledge without the knowledge of the first two types, yung declarative knowledge and procedural knowledge. How do we differentiate now between procedural and self-regulating? From the word self-regulating, it's identifying how your ability, your procedural knowledge, and your declarative knowledge will suit to a specific condition in a specific situation. Okay? This will allow you to complete a task. Na alam mo na yung ito may mga pa-plan B ka, plan C, kung sakaling ito ang mangyari, ito ang plan B ko, ito ang plan C ko. Self-regulating. Nung sakaling metamad ko that day, what will I do next? If in case alam power that day, what will I do next? What if walang kuryente that day, I cannot research, what will I do next? Okay? So that's what we mean by self-regulating knowledge. You know how to regulate your own learning despite unfavorable conditions. Next, metacognitive. Of course, you know this one. So metacognitive knowledge is the general knowledge about human beings' learning, okay, and processing information. So as well as individual knowledge of one's own learning processes. So lahat ng tatlong to, the big umbrella is the metacognitive knowledge. Okay? So those are the different types of knowledge used in metacognition process. Metacognitive and cognitive strategies may overlap. Okay? How? Paano nangyayari yun? Such as when you ask yourself, ayan yung sinabi ni Miss Camille kanina, no? And Miss Janessa. Yung questioning strategy, like when you ask yourself, mga pagtatanong natin sa sarili natin, okay, to obtain knowledge, okay, as a way of monitoring what was read, that's what we mean by overlapping. Okay, pwedeng mag-overlap kasing metacognitive and cognitive strategies. Like what I'm saying, they complement each other. At first, you have the cognitive knowledge, okay? Meron ka niyan. Up to such point that you develop your metacognitive knowledge, and because of metacognitive knowledge, you will improve your cognition. Kumbaga, nag-umpisa sa cognitive, na-develop mo yung metacognitive mo, ibabalik rin ni metacognitive kay cognitive, complementing, overlapping each other. Okay? Yung self-questioning technique, ayun, yung sinabi ni Ms. Janessa Lai kanina, may mga tanong tayo na minsan hindi natin nasasagot. But it's a way for us to obtain knowledge. That's cognitive. It could also be a way to monitor ourselves. Kasi alam mo na may mga tanong ka pa palang hindi nasasagot. Okay? At yung mga tanong na yun, kailangan mong malaman. That's metacognition. Ulitin ko ha, the example. When you are questioning yourself, dalawang nangyayari dyan. First is you question yourself and then you answer it, you obtain knowledge. Okay? Another is when you question yourself, nalalaman mo yung alam mo na at yung hindi mo pa alam. That's metacognition. Okay? So pareho sabay na nangyayari, no? You are using the same strategy, but you are developing both the cognitive and metacognitive aspect of yourself. So, makikita niyo mamaya in our examples, different examples of cognitive and metacognitive activities which we can do inside the classroom. Marami yung pagtatanong, asking questions. That's why sinasabi sa klase, di ba, teacher laging nagtatanong, hindi laging sumasagot. We always ask questions. Pag hindi nila alam yung sagot, then lead them to questions that will direct them to the correct answer. Okay? Ang teacher na magaling magtanong, magaling talaga. Ang teacher na kayang sumagot, tamad na. Itang ibiyan mo niya mo bang yari na yung pisabyan, mo no pag-isipan. Because when you ask question, you let them think. That's the point. And that's creativity. Pero yung nagtanong sila, sinagot mo agad, tamad ka. Kasi ayaw mo na ng mahabang discussion. Okay? That's what we mean by metacognitive activities and cognitive activities. Okay? So kaya kayo, ngayon pa lang, i-develop nyo na yung questioning skills nyo. At yun yung kutang ninetang, is everything clear? Siyempre, sabihan da yes. Yeah? Bali naman da estudyante, malaram lang. Bla mo, itamo na yung estudyante. Ikayo, pag may utang yung prof, banang mayari, is everything clear? Yes, sir. No question? No, kung natural lang mangutang kasi na nakaburing kakakita, nakaburing daramdaman. You ask them questions to make sure that everything is clear. Okay? Ako malaram, balo ko yan. Eh? Tang banang mayaring pisab yan. Yes, sir. Pero po tang kitnanda kayo or kitnanda lang rin teachers da, alala nga sagot. And that's our task. Kung maniwala ka rin, scam mo ito. Scam da kayo mo pag sinabi ng yes. Okay? Your task is to create questions and let them answer. At yung tanong na yan, it should not be limited to, is everything clear? Is everything understood? Ay? Siyempre, yes. Yeah? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, there are 3 essential skills in metacognition. We have planning, monitoring, and evaluation. So when I say planning, monitoring, and evaluation, it relates to learning. You plan your own learning, you monitor your own learning, you evaluate your own learning. That's metacognition. Do you plan your learning? Yes. Siyempre, pag mag-review na kayo, di ba? Ating kayong strategy, technique. Gagawan king, nung luka rin mang sulok ng baling, favorite spot, yung karing kolok-lok. Sa oras na to, nandito yung libro mo, yung handout mo, o kung ano mang material yung kailangan mo na alam mo will suit you. That's for planning. Pinlano mo na kung paano ka magre-review, kung paano ka matututo. Okay? You know the devices that you need. When you monitor, ayan, yung tinatanong mo na yung sarili mo. Okay, ba't sasagot ka naman? Ika hindi lipak sabihin mo yung sarili mo pag mag-review ka. That's monitoring. Okay? Evaluation, ayan, na-evaluate mo na yung mga bagay na, ay nalaman mo na yung mga bagay na hindi mo pa alam at yung bagay na dapat mo pang malaman. That's evaluation. And for sure, gagawan nyo na yun at this stage. Dapat mo kasi college na kayo. You should have developed a high level of motivation. Nung ali pa, dakal tapat tayo. Ako na kayo. Ako susupo. Okay? Basta't alang tutukiking sala. Okay. Metacognitive knowledge and skills improve with growth and development. Sabi ko nga kanina, tsuno ko king college, mas matas na in kaya kayo metacognition. Expect yung karing anak, alin pa masyado. They are not yet aware of this. So, it's a challenge to elementary teachers. Diyan naman pumapasok yung motivation. Kung hindi pa ganun kataas ang kanilang metacognition, pasukan mo ng napakaraming motivating activities. Okay? For them to be interested with what they are doing. Okay? The metacognitive skills grow with age, experience, and guidance. For sure, at this point, you already gained the experience. Alam nyo na sa sarili nyo yung mga bagay na that would affect you, that would impact you as a learner. You know the effective ones and the ineffective strategies sa sarili nyo, ha? Okay, dahil haliwa, pwede lang manalbi habang mag-review, agagawain, mamangan habang mag-review, pero ako wali. So, tinry ko kasi syempre mag-explore ko na. Tinry ko mo yan, tang mamakaramdam ko mo music habang mag-review. Ay, sakit ko buntok. Tiknangan ko. Ali, in ka na akong strategy is silent, ayan. Buri ko itang madulumdum pa na itang akong dini. Kaya ba't mating magaspang king bitis ko, either kulambo or pader pag mag-review. Ayan, feel na feel king pa mag-review. Minsan mong basa, antin dyan mo na. Pero niyang pemilit ko mag-earphone ko na, pa-music ko na. Ay, Diyos ko, nalagnat ko. Wag you. Okay? It's a way to experiment nyo rin sarili nyo what suits you. Pating nanonood, pating kumakain ha, yung kumakain habang nagre-review, it does not suit me. Ala, may gisanang pamangan nala ko pangabalo. Ay, hindi pa, in Facebook, in social media, kailangan makapatdaya pag mag-review. Kaya ako pwede kitang maka-open yung social media habang mag-review kasi ma-distract ko. Ala, tuloy-tuloy king Facebook. Facebook mga nga balo ko. Okay, datang memes, hanggang mayari na yung oras mag-Facebook ko pa ako mamig-review. And at this point, kailangan alam nyo na yan. Kaya hindi ko na inulit yung mga bagay na hindi effective or ineffective para sa akin. Okay. The knowledge of cognition with 3 components. We have, these are the theory, what do you call this one? Theories organize the skills of metacognition into 2 components. So these are the 2, the knowledge of cognition with 3 components and the regulation of cognition. So what are these 3 components of knowledge of cognition? First is knowledge of factors that influence performance. Example, yun nga, sinabi natin kanina. And you know that your performance, my review performance will not be affected kapag may pagkain, may ingay, ayan. So tatanggalin ko yan. These are factors that impact my learning. So I will remove that. Next, knowing different strategies to use for learning. Ayan, making my own notes when reporting or presenting. Gagawa ako ng sarili kong notes aside from the PowerPoint. That's very important to me. Okay? Next, that's a strategy I use in order to remember things. Knowing what strategy to use for a specific learning situation, because one strategy will not be applicable to all situations, and you should know about that. Okay, there are times that you need to write, there are times that you need to use the laptop, there are times that you need to go to the library, there are times that you need to use the online sources. At kailangan alam mo yung akma. Those are the 3 components of the knowledge of cognition. While regulation of cognition, it refers to setting goals, planning, monitoring, controlling, and evaluating your own learning. Okay? So these are the 2 components. Okay? 2 important components that theories organize, okay, in relation to the skills of metacognition. Okay, these are now the specific strategies that we use to develop students' metacognitive skills. At tandaan nyo ng mga ito, okay, because these are very important. Like what I've said, pag na-develop mo na sa bata yung metacognition, you already achieved your purpose because they will become independent learners. Katulad sa inyo, bakit pwede na ang modular instruction? Kasi nagbabasa na kayo. You know how to direct your own learning. You are adult learners and you develop already a high level of metacognition. Pansinin nyo yung modular na grade 1, kaya nila mag-isa, hindi. They need the support of the adult. Even in high school, okay, na hindi pa nila na-discover yung metacognitive strategy nila, yung metacognition nila, or the strategy that suit their learning, they find it hard to study. Na kahit anong gawin nilang pag-aaral, hindi nila makuha because they are still on the process of discovering their learning strategy. So remember about the strategies. First, asking questions. Ayan. Nabanggitan natin kanina ng napakarami example. Next is fostering self-reflection. Like, after the session, you would ask them to write, at the end of the session, I learned that. Okay? I learned that blank may be used in blank. Ayan. Self-reflection activities. Yung, yung activity na merong map, like, what I know, what I need to know. Alam niyo yun? Okay, that's also a good tool in order to promote reflection. Okay, and then sa dulo, meron siyang, I learned that, and then complete one ditang sentence. Okay? So these are techniques. Encourage self-questioning. Ako matamad, ne? Turuyo lang, ayan, syempre, at this point, sinabi na nga Miss Laing, kukut na yung sarili nga about things, about the... for sure, kayo rin naman, tinatanong nyo yung sarili nyo kung ano yung natutunan nyo na at hindi nyo pa alam. Pag nagre-review kayo, you ask yourself, like you review yourself, di ba? Meron naman kasing iba, they want yung group study, na gusto nila may kabatuhan sila ng tanong. Okay? Meron ganon. Meron naman yung gusto niya, in isolation siya lang mag-isa, kaya niyang tanongin yung sarili niya. Okay? Bintang ko pa ang aking point kanta during my high school years, nagagawa akong sarili kong test paper, ba't sasagutan ko? Nakoka rin. Pero ako nagagawan ngayon kasi nakala ko gagawan test paper. That's how I review before. Okay? At ganingaldo talaga, ganingaldo yung time ko before. Ako makapag-review ng morning. Okay? Or at least at this point I'm glad as an adult, I already know my strategies at dapat kayo rin. Okay? At yung strategy natin yan, pwede bang mabago? Yung metacognition level natin, yes. It changes based on experience, based on growth and development. At this point, ako na yung memorization. Kanta na kung feel ko yung memorization. Lakad-lakad ko baka bang mag-memorize. Pero ngayon, as an adult and as a professional, I'm still taking my graduate studies. I am in a boring memorization. Masusura na kami kapag memorization. Understanding and comprehending on the content. And then, pag tinanong sa amin yun, we will use our own words. Unlike before, verbatim, word for word, kaya kong i-memorize at yun mismo yung sasagot ko. No? And it helped. It helped me because I was able to improve my vocabulary. We learn vocabulary by means of memorization until such time na mapoffossilize na. Pag sinabi natin fossilization, yun nandun na sa isip mo, automatic na siyang lumalabas. It's already part of your language. Okay? Another, promoting autonomous learning, giving them the authority in our direction, the permit on their own learning. Okay? Like having them set their own deadlines, having them make their own reviewer na kanya-kanyang format nung nanumburida aliway itang ikang mag-dictate. Give them the autonomy. Okay? Next, provide access to mentors. Kayo ita. So pag mangutang leko matamad, sagutan nyo la rin kutang. But not all the time. Kung alam mo na kaya niyang sagutin, balik mo yung kutang in a different way and lead that learner into answering his or her own question. Okay? Solving problems with a team or group. That's also a metacognitive skill. Thinking aloud. Ayan yung pag nag-memorize kayo. And then, sinasabi niyo yung memorize nyo. You are reciting, di ba? You are reciting. Meron kasi yung nagme-memorize na tahimik lang. That's also thinking aloud. Like, you are speaking in your mind. Meron naman yung nagsasalita talaga. Ang bala mo kung mag-orasyon laking kwarto, mamamakaramdam niya yung madaking balam na nung orasyon yung gagawin. But they are memorizing or reciting something that's thinking aloud. So thinking aloud is another metacognitive skill or a strategy to develop metacognitive skill. Next is doing self-explanation. Syempre, kayo pag ating kung finlash ako tangken, mamamag-explain ako king sarili yun Sana ko mamamangilabot, lalo na nung wala akong explain king sarili yun, kay ba't may yaws na ka? Isipan mo na ang technique ng gawan mo, kapamaglag ko ito. Yes, sir. Okay, yun. You are doing self-explanation. At ginagawa natin yan, di ba? Minsan tinatanong natin yung sarili natin about things. Kung gagawin ko to, eting mangyayari. At pag eting nangyari, eting magiging effect. Ayan. Pag ginagawa mo yan, it's a strategy. Okay? Let them think aloud. Like speak out what they think. Kunyari, sa mathematics, yung think aloud, pag sinasolve nila yung addition, for instance, ng three numbers, 9 plus 6, 15. Bring down 5, carry 1. Yun, sinasabi nila. Unlike yung nagsosolve lang sila ng tahimik. So when it's thinking aloud kasi, it will give the teacher a manifestation kung paano sila mag-isip. Because that's mental processes na minamanifest nila. Sinasabi nila. And it will give you a hint kung paano nila isolve ang isang problem in addition. That's thinking aloud. Okay, doing self-explanation, we already discussed that. And providing opportunities for making errors. Okay? Expect that they will commit errors. Ako masyadong feeling perfect ita mo nga magkamalita mo. Timoya ko nandin cognitive impact nga nakakukitang metacognitive knowledge na chinek Okay? Kasi ako sigurado potaro gumayaring aldo ngayon at tanda na Miss Pagyo is cognitive knowledge niya. Ako siya na Miss Pagyo kasi sinabi ko cognitive. So it's my fault. Okay? And it's really my fault because I dispose an incorrect information, but it's my responsibility to correct. But I repeat, when they commit mistakes, do not humiliate them. Sporyan mila, sir. Kotan nyo la. Balik mo yung kotang hanggang maging tuyong sagot na. Ngayon na talaga ako yung sagot, ask a peer. Okay? Magtawag ka rin sa kanila. Ka masyadong feeling matalino na teacher na biya-kambi ang sagot. O ikaw ng top 1 kasi, na ikaw ng with highest honor. Yeah? Huwag ganun. Let them think. Ngayon, kung hindi masagot ng isa, take an opportunity for some other learners to become resource speakers. Okay? Hindi ko ang bida dito, teacher. Your work is to facilitate. Yun ang facilitator. Pag nagbibigay ka ng sagot, you're not a facilitator. Yung direct agad, sagot ka ng sagot, no? Yung muna din ng chance. Ay, sabi natin, no? Always ask questions, let them think. Okay? So, bali yun na pag may demo kayo na, puro kutang, na, puro kutang. At pag tinuro na kayo, pag may palabas ko kayo, ba't buri ko mamamangutang kayo na? Yun kasi ang trabaho natin, magbigay ng tanong. Okay? At siguro din mo yung tanong na binigay mo, alam mo yung sagot. Baka naman kasi mamaya nagtatanong ka kasi hindi mo alam yung sagot. Okay? Para mo may passing responsibilidad king anak niya. Huwag ganon. Okay, ba tayo mo man verify nung correct or aliyah? Okay. 3 minutes na, pamilisan ko na. Tell strategies that develop self-regulation. Tell students that the ability to learn is not a fixed quantity, that it is a trait developed over time. So do not, I repeat, discriminate if they progress slowly. We have our own pace when it comes to learning. Okay? Tell them that. Teach students to set goals. Paano? Example, pag nagtuturo kayo, lagi niyong unahin na state ang objective. Okay? Kung merong pa-project at the end of the session, merong pa-output at the end of the session, sabihin nyo na sa una pa lang. Okay? At the end of the session, you will be required to write a paragraph, class. That's why you need to know about paragraph. And that will be our lesson for today. Alam nila ang goal nila. Makikinig sila kasi alam nila at the end, magsusulat sila ng paragraph. Okay? At it's already a technique na ina-advise ng mga experts when it comes to teaching. State mo na agad yung objectives mo. Hindi lang ikaw ang nakakaalam, kailangan alam din ng mga bata. So they know the map, they know where learning will lead to. They know the direction. May mapa sila. Okay? Nagagawa kasi kami ng output kaya kailangan kong makinig. Okay? Kasi yung sinabi ni teacher, yun yung aming goal. Give opportunities for self-monitoring and adapting. Ayan. Self-monitoring, like they would ask themselves, they will create their own reviewer. Ano pa? Yung tanong nga, pagtatanong, that's very important. It's a way to give them opportunity for self-monitoring. Kunyari, maling sagot niya, palitan mo yung tanong. Okay? Simplify mo yung tanong. Pag ineffectwa, can meet ang root. Okay? Exhaust all possible means, all questions na meron ka sa isip mo, ibatong mo lahat sa kanya so that the learner will realize what do we mean by the question. Minsan kasi yung tanong is constructed in different way, hindi nila makomprehend. Baguhin mo. O kaya naman hindi nila maintindihan yung isang word, define it first. Okay? Lead them to answer. Kunyari addition yan, ng 3 digits, mali yung isang number sa ano. Okay, this is your answer. Now, I would like to ask you, Anna, pantunan mo itang spot na mali, pero mo sabihan na mali. 9 plus 6, sama kayo. 14 po. Are you sure it's 14? Sige nga, use your hands. Bilangan din. Hi, teacher, 15 pala. But you wrote here number 4. And then you carried number 1. Is this correct, Anna? No, ma'am. O, palitan niya kang tagawa ng 5 and then carry 1. O, mag-istuning sagot na. In that way, we give opportunity for self-monitoring and adapting. Aliway tang, Anna, you're wrong. That's not 245. It should be 255. Mayari naman pinimpisab yan na kami gobra. Na kami ngutang kami pagal. Yaring pisab yan. Abalo din sagot. But the question is, did you develop learning or promote learning to this children? Okay, strategies to develop students' awareness of thinking, sharpening students' alertness and observational skills, provide explicit, pag sinabing explicit, like you do not imply, state it directly, that's explicit instruction. Modeling, saka magturong makanyan, dancing, model mo pa, turo kang cha-cha, papag-cha-cha mo, di mag-cha-cha ka pa, ika pa. Yeah, aliway tang ilagad. Buri mo naman, baludang agad. Okay? Encourage peer evaluation. Like, yung sinabi ko kanina, pag hindi alam ng isa, you may ask somebody to become a resource speaker. Provide questions for enhancing reflection. And example, I'll give you a technique na ginagamit ko sa pagtuturo ng literature. Short stories, mga kwento. Kasi pagbabasahin natin sila, no? Siyempre, pag mamasala rin, matamadla. What I do, I give guide questions that they need to answer while reading. Like identifying the characters. So while they are reading, they are doing the task. Okay? May ginagawa sila. Kasi alam nyo, reading alone is boring. Tang mamasa ka mo. Others would do it. But for some, majority, they will not. So that's what I'm doing for grade 7 learners. Yung face-to-face pa niya. When I ask them to read a short story, I give them series of questions. It's either objective or yung subjective na tinatawag. Okay? At mahanap nila yan sa mga, gusto ko, minsan pa, no, ini-indicate nila, pinapa-indicate ko kung saan paragraph nila nakita yung sagot for me to know if they really read the text. So these are techniques, specific techniques. Okay, Socratic questioning. Yung sinabi ko sa inyo, yung is it clear? Is it precise? Is it accurate? Ayok kutang din. Or any ren kutang yo. Can you elaborate further if you want to clarify on something? Can you give more details if you want them to become more precise? How can we verify or test that? Diba? Diba? Ang gaganda ng mga tanong. Kesa dun, is it clear? Is everything clear? Do you understand? Siyempre mag-yes na rin. Eh? Tuknangan mo, teacher. O rin din kutang nyo, listayo na lang. Eh? Memorize nyo rin. Eh? O rin din babarongga tamo ka rin anak when we are asking questions. Yung sa dulo ng session, now, after we have learned about paragraph writing, you ask the question, for instance, for clarity. Can you elaborate more on paragraph? When do you say paragraph? Ganyan ang mga tanungan ng mga creative na teacher. Aliway, sinabi ko, pinabanang mayari, ne? Is everything clear? Yes, sir. Okay, goodbye, class. Okay, but with smile ka pa, ne? Okay, but feeling perfect teacher ka. Itong ika ng ka-effective mo, palakpakan. At kung kontakin dual classroom, mag-slow clap ko kaya. Very good, ma'am. Very good. Ingkutang mo, is it clear? Ne? Mig-yes lang ding anak. So, learning is very evident. Slow clap na itang kala-kala. Sa ako makatas metong kila. Okay. That's what we call the Socratic questioning. Yung Socratic method ng pagtatanong. Okay? Okay. For your task, watch this video from YouTube. Ayan yung link. Okay? Nandyan sa baba. After watching, answer the item below through MS Teams posting. You cite classroom activities in which the 6 thinking habits